now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G. WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham. You know me as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well with everyone. It is Monday. We are back on the grind after the weekend. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a safe weekend. It was pretty wet here in the Panhandle over the weekend, so I hope you stay safe and driving slow and doing all that good stuff to keep yourself from injury and hurt, harm, and driving without anything in your system to where it may take you to jail. But we're back. It is Monday. It's good to see you once again. I did not last Thursday. We did not do a show last Thursday. It seems, and I'm not going to say this for certain, but it seems that one day a week may be the norm for the next few weeks until we get everything acclimated and get everything settled, because I got a lot going on. But we'll see about that. We're going to play that by ear. We're going to take it day by day and see what happens, and we're going to go from there. But once again, thank you for joining me right here on WPMM Internet Radio, where I am here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Today's show, we're going to talk a little football. I may touch on some of the other issues, but I want to tackle this football thing. But we are WPMM online radio, the internet radio. We play more music, play the best in R&B and jazz, neo soul, independent hip hop, old school music. You can listen from the website, WPMMradio.com. You can also go to iTunes. You can tell Alexa to play WPMM. You can also download the app, the WPMM app. You can download it, and you can take us anywhere that you go. It's a free download from the website. You can also go to Google Play Store. You can go to the Apple Store as well. Again, it's a free download. Trying to figure out what's going on over there, but it's a free download. And also, if you have someone who's trying to listen to the show, all you have to do is text them WPMMradio.com. Just put that in the message field. All they have to do is click on it, hit play, and they can listen to the show as well on the WPMM Internet Radio site. So that's that. But it's great to be back in the seat. It's kind of hard on me because I keep going away and coming back and this, that, and other. And like I said, I got a lot going on. So I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you sticking and staying. I appreciate you still listening to the show. And I got something going on in the background that I need to address here real quick. So I'm just going to take a hot second. I'm going to take a hot second and address that, and I'll be right back with you. All right. We are back. I don't know what's going on with that thing back there, but we got it taken care of. I think we got it taken care of. So, but anyway, views and opinions expressed by the individual radio host and guests are their own. It does not necessarily reflect the official policy of WPMM. WPMM does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. That disclaimer need to be said today because I'm probably going to say a few things that's going to piss some people off. But guess what? I don't care. It's better to be pissed off than pissed on. So say what I got to say today. Just do what I got to do because some injustice done took place, and the injustice affected our kids. We got grown folks that are affecting our young people, and that's just not cool no matter how you look at it. So I still got something going on back there. I still not sure what is happening. I don't know what's going on back there. Something happening. But y'all bear with me. It's gonna work itself out. But anyway. But I put out the invite. I put out the invite for anyone who wanted to talk football with me to just inbox me and let me know. I did not get any responses in regards to people who want to talk football, but I did. There's a lot of people. It's funny because there's a lot of people out there that has a lot to say about the current state of particular college football. But when you give them an opportunity, when you give them a platform to say something and to come on and talk about what they've been posting about all day long, every day, don't get any responses. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna let you slide. I'm gonna talk about you, but I'm gonna let you slide because I ain't scared to say whatever I got to say. If it got to be said, I say it. It don't matter to me. I ain't like you. Some of you people who Facebook bullies and post stuff on Facebook, but then don't want to say nothing out in the open, say it out loud. But you got the right one. What's that? What's that commercial? Is it Coke? You got the right one, baby. But anyway, it is the holiday season as well. Let's not forget that it is the holiday season. We came off the Thanksgiving weekend. Now we're rolling into the Christmas holidays, and the festivities have started. The potlucks have started. The Christmas parties have started. I'm just going to caution you to be careful. Just be careful when you go into these potlucks and this, that, and the other. That is so irritating. I don't know what's going on back there. That is so irritating. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't crazy. I know I ain't crazy. Let's see something. Let's try something here. I that's irritating. I don't know what's going on right there. But anyway, it's still going on. But yeah, y'all bear with me just a moment here. Having a slight technical issue that we're gonna see if we can just make a couple of adjustments and see if we can get this going on right. But anyway, let's get started. Like I say, I offered to, I requested for anyone who wanted to come on and talk about this subject with me to come on. Didn't get a response. Like I say, we got a lot of Facebook bullies that talk trash and then don't want to say it out in the open. But that's okay. I understand. I understand. If you're scared, say you're scared. I remember they used to say that back in the day. If you're scared, say you're scared. And I ain't never scared. I'm like Bone Crusher. I ain't never scared. But if you've been living under a rock, and if you're not on the sports scene or what have you, we know we're in the at the end of the college season, and at the end of this college season, we have your conference championship games going on. You have the FCS playoffs going on to determine the champions of the championship series there in college football. You have the FBS going on in Division One football to determine a national champion, and also the bowl games that are scheduled for those teams who have played the games and qualified and did what they have to do in order to play in bowl games. Those games are coming up, and we'll run through those bowl games here and tell you when they're coming on and this, that, and other. We'll run through those before the show end as well. But to get into let's go ahead and get into the college scores over the weekend first. Let's go ahead and tell you what happened over the weekend. Again, it's championship week, so all the games that were played were either conference championships or playoff games, depending on what division of football you're talking about. So Once again, if you're out there on Facebook, go ahead and share. Also, if you're out there, let me know you're out there. Hit the thumbs up, hit a heart, hit something. Let me know you're out there. Also, you can comment on Facebook. Just put your message in the comment section, and I will acknowledge your comment, and we'll talk about it as well. Also, once again, if you wish to join me live, the link is on the screen. If you're watching on Facebook, the link is on the screen. All you have to do is copy that link into your browser. Copy that link into your browser, and then just follow the prompts. It's going to take you to the waiting room. Once you get in the waiting room, that's when I will see you that you are there, and I will let you in the room so that you can come in and voice your opinions about this football season and how things ended up. So, but all right, we got Jam in the house. What's going on, Miss Jam? I was over there. It's been probably a couple months now. I was over there at Real Women Radio Live with Jam, and correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Jamming in the corner. I was a guest with Miss Jam over there, so it was a great experience for the two stations to come together, Real Women Radio and WPMM coming together as one, and that's what we need. We need more unity in this world, and it was a pleasure being on her show, and we will definitely have Miss Jam on my show here coming up sometime soon. I don't know exactly when. I seen her the other day. She asked me when I'm going back in the main studio, and I told her I can't give her a date yet. I can't give her a date because it's hard. It's rough times out here. Yes, ma'am. Miss Jam said I got to come back. I will be back. Definitely will come back. That invitation I have accepted, and I will definitely be back in the house. So, but let's run through these scores, if you will. Let's run through these scores. What happened over the weekend? This was on Friday night. We had a conference championship between Washington and Oregon. Washington won that game 34-31. It was a barn burner, and Washington pulled it out right there. They held on to win it 34-31, and that dashed Oregon hopes for any playoff run. And prior to that game, they were in the conversation, but that loss put them out of the conversation and obviously advanced Washington. And then we had Liberty and New Mexico State playing. That game is interesting, and I'll tell you why that game is interesting here coming up here in a moment. Well, I'll tell you that because that game put Liberty University, and most of you guys haven't even heard of Liberty University, but they do play football up there. And that game put them in the championship of that conference, if you will, and that qualified them for a major bowl. What they call a New Year's Six Bowl. And they will actually, I'll talk about it later on in the show, but they're actually going to meet Oregon in that bowl game. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. Then we had the game coming in on Saturday. You had the Alabama-Georgia game where Alabama won that one by 3 points, held on to win by 3 points. And if you recall the game prior to that, they won by 3 points to an unranked team, and I'll tell you the significance of that here in coming up in just a moment when I get to talking about the injustice that we have in our college football. But yeah, they won their last two games by a total of 6 points, and I'll get in more to that. Just hang on to that thought right there. Just hang on to that thought for a moment. We're going to get back to that. Also, we had Michigan and Iowa playing for the championship there. In the Big Ten, Michigan just basically kind of destroyed Iowa. Even though Michigan, they put up 26 points, but they held Iowa to 0. Iowa was ranked number 16. They were second in the Big Ten, and that's how things go. How things go. Iowa was 10-2 going into that game. So they wasn't no pushovers. They earned their way to the conference championship, but they just wasn't a matchup for Michigan. Then we had Florida State Louisville in the ACC championship. Florida State beat Louisville 16-6. Again, Louisville was 10-2 coming into that contest. And also, Louisville had a what they call a prolific offense. They had been scoring over 30 plus points a game up until that game. Florida State held them to 6 points. And we'll talk about that game a little bit more here coming up as well, because that game apparently, as they say, had a lot to do with the outcome of the FBS Championship Series as far as the playoff goes. Then you had Texas over Oklahoma State 49-21. Texas really had no issues beating Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was 9-3 going into that contest, and it was never really close in that game. Texas kind of controlled the game the whole game, even though Oklahoma State did put up 21 points. But Texas pretty much controlled the game, the whole game. Then you had SMU and Tulane. I watched a little bit of that game. I was kind of hoping Tulane would have pulled that one out. I don't know why I was rooting for Tulane in that game, but I was. Because I'm not a fan of either programs, but for whatever reason, I wanted Tulane to pull it out, but they did not. SMU got them 26-14 in the win there. So, the other games that were going on were the FCS Championship Series, where the playoff games were still going on. I don't have those scores in front of me. If I can get them before the end of the show, I'll go ahead and give those scores as well. But those are the games in major Division I college football that took place. Now, obviously, the last game took place on Saturday night after the games ended. Then this 13-member committee, if you will, got together and went and sat in a room and counted all the money that Alabama gave them and said, okay, these are the teams we're going to put in the playoffs. Like I said, if you've been under a rock, you may not know what I'm talking about, but for the most part, even people who aren't sports advocates or sports watchers or sports fans kind of know what's going on in this situation, or what happened in the selection of the FBS. And once again, if anybody want to join in on the conversation, the link is at the bottom of the screen. All you have to do is click on that link. Click on that link and not click on it, but copy that link into your browser. Follow the prompts, and it will take you to the waiting room. Once you're in the waiting room, I will bring you in to the conversation. Let's see what happened there. I'm not sure what just happened. But anyway, before I get into my spiel or get into my rant and my rage in regards to what happened, I was going to try to give you a rundown of the bowl games that will be taking place. And I'm not sure what's going on with I have a couple computers in front of me, and one of them don't want to act right. One of them do not want to act right. But it does look like we have a comment. Miss Tamara done dropped a comment into the comment section, and if I look like I'm retarded for a moment, it's because I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see on the small screen, and my eyes aren't fully focused after getting off work today. So y'all bear with me. So if I read something and I look like I can't read, it's not that. I'm fully functional, even though I went to public school, but it's hard for me to see what I'm reading. But she said, so Florida State can't play in the playoffs because they're 13-0, never lost a game. That's crazy. Make it make sense. Here, and Ms. Tamara, I'm gonna try to make it make sense. I know what took place. I know what happened. I know why it happened. I know how it happened, and it's not fair, no matter how you look at it. It's not fair no matter how you look at it. So just stick around just a moment. Let me run through these bowl games, and then we're going to jump on that topic here. Once again, if you want to join, the link is on the screen. Just copy, paste that link into your browser and follow the prompts. Saturday, December 16th, we had a Myrtle Beach Bowl with Georgia Southern versus Ohio Conway. Then we have in the Celebration Bowl, also on that same day, December 16th, we have Florida A&M and Howard playing. That game will be on ABC. The Georgia Southern game will be on ESPN, 11 a.m. on that day. Then we got the Celebration Bowl at 12 on ABC. Also, you had the New Orleans Bowl. You have Jacksonville State in Louisiana. That's on ESPN at 2:15. Then we have the Cure Bowl. Miami of Ohio and Appalachian State. They're playing that game down in Orlando. It'll also be televised on ABC. 5:45 is the kickoff time for that one. Then we have the LA Bowl, UCLA and Boise State, and that one that's out in California. ABC 7:30 at night. I'm assuming that's Eastern time. Independence Bowl, Texas Tech and Cal in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then on Monday, December 18th, we have the Bahama Bowl. And that's Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. And those two teams actually get to go to the Bahamas to play football. Isn't that wonderful? That game will be televised on ESPN as well. Also, Tuesday, December 19th, Marshall and UTSA at 9 p.m. on ESPN. That Thursday, the 21st, in the Boca Raton Bowl. Again, they get the USF, University of South Florida, and Syracuse get to play in that game, 8 o'clock on ESPN on that game. December 22nd, the Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech and UCF down in Tampa at 6:30. The Birmingham Bowl, Troy State versus Duke, 12 p.m. on ABC. The Camellia Bowl, Arkansas State and Northern Illinois. That's in Montgomery. On that bowl game, 12 p.m. on ESPN. Armed Forces Bowl, we got Air Force and James Madison, 3:30 on that one on ABC. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Georgia State and Utah State. That's at 3:30 p.m. That's game being played in Idaho. Then we have the 68 Ventures Bowl. That one played Mobile, Alabama, right down the street. We have Eastern Michigan and South Alabama. South Alabama get to play at home. How did that work out? Don't ask me, but they get to play at home. They're going to have home field advantage pretty much. 7 o'clock p.m. on that bowl game, Northeastern Utah in Las Vegas, 7:30 on ABC. And then the Hawaii Bowl, 10:30 on ESPN. San Jose State and Coastal Carolina get to play in that one. Get a trip to Hawaii. That'll be a great outing for those kids there. Tuesday the 26th, the Quick Lane Bowl, Bowling Green in Minnesota on ESPN. The First Responder Bowl, we got Texas State and Rice. Then we have the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Kansas UNLV on ESPN. Wednesday the 27th, Tulane and Virginia Tech on ESPN at 2 o'clock. Duke's Mayo Bowl, North Carolina and West Virginia on ESPN. Holiday Bowl, Louisville and Southern Cal. That's going to be on Fox. We have the Texas Bowl, Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, 9 p.m. on ESPN. Thursday the 28th, that's SMU takes on Boston College, 11 o'clock on ESPN. The Pinstripe Bowl, Rutgers and Miami, Florida, 2:15 p.m. on ESPN. The Pop-Tart Bowl in Orlando, where NC State and Kansas State will be going at it, on ESPN. The Alamo Bowl, Oklahoma, Arizona, ESPN on that one. Then we got Friday the 29th, we got the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida, Clemson and Kentucky. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Notre Dame and Oregon State. That's on CBS. Memphis and our state played in the Liberty Bowl. Then we got the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State versus Missouri in the Cotton Bowl. This is on this December 29th. On the 30th, the Peach Bowl, Penn State and Ole Miss, 12 p.m. on ESPN. Music City Bowl, Auburn and Maryland on ABC at 2 o'clock. The Orange Bowl, a meaningless game, if you ask me. Florida State and Georgia play at 4 p.m. The Arizona Bowl, Wyoming and Toledo at 4:30. Then we have Monday, the January 1st, we have the Rally Quest Bowl, LSU versus Wisconsin. That's on ESPN2. Citrus Bowl hour in Tennessee on ABC, the Fiesta Bowl, Oregon and Liberty University on ESPN. And then the college playoff semifinal against Michigan, Alabama is on ESPN, and the Sugar Bowl, Washington, Texas, is on ESPN as well. And then the national championship game will take place on the January the 8th, 7:30 in Houston, Texas on ESPN. And that is the bowl schedule that's taking place. And with this bowl schedule, Miss Minnie, how you doing? And Miss Minnie has joined us on Facebook. Good to see you. Once again, if you're out there on Facebook, let me know you're out there. Hit a thumbs up, hit a heart, drop a comment in the comment section. Once again, if you want to join in on this conversation, the link is on the bottom of the screen. Just copy that link into your browser, follow the prompts, and just sit there in the waiting room until I bring you in. I will definitely bring you in. So just be patient with that. But here's what is pissing me off. What that done had me in a bad mood for since about 11:30 yesterday afternoon, 11:30, between 11:30 and 12, when this announcement came down on the selection of the 4 teams that will play in the playoffs. I called bullshit on it before it even happened. I knew that this committee was not going to do the right thing. They were going to do what they wanted to do, regardless of what took place on the field, and how hard these kids had worked to get to a position to where they would have an opportunity to play for the national championship. I knew the fix was on. And for all you Alabama fans, you know, instead of being obnoxious and being assholes and all this, and if you think I'm calling you an asshole, I'm not really calling you an asshole, but a lot of Alabama fans are acting like assholes. And the reason I say that is because the reality of the situation, regardless if you're an Alabama fan or not, the reality of the situation is that Alabama was handed an invitation to play in this playoff series just because they are Alabama, just because they are privileged, just because they play in the SEC. That is the reality of the situation. No matter how you stack it up, lay it down, slice it up, that is the reality of the situation. They are there because they are Alabama and because they are in the SEC. And we have the Good Old Boy Network that is part of the selection committee. And if you don't think it's the part of the Good Old Boy Network, just Google the members of this committee, and you tell me if it's part of the Good Old Boy Network or not. But they are there because they were privileged to be given something that they did not earn on the football field. They did not earn that share on the football field. It was given to them. Now, on the flip side, Florida State University was left out of the college playoffs. And again, the reality of the situation is that in the 10 years of this FBS, since the inception of this playoff, if you were undefeated conference champion, every undefeated conference champion has walked into the playoffs. I said 2 different criteria: undefeated and conference champions of the Power 5 conference. They have walked into the playoffs. In other words, they had earned their right to play in the playoff. Power 5 conference, undefeated, conference champions, walked into the playoffs. Now, we have a situation where Alabama was on the verge of being left out of the playoffs. Okay, let's go back to last year. Keep in mind, Alabama was left out of the playoffs last year, and Nick Saban cried like a little bitch because he was left out of the playoffs on he lost 2 games that season, and there was a whole lot of one-loss teams ahead of him. But he cried like a little bitch, and complained and complained, and he wasn't able to get his way because he had 2 losses. This year, Alabama lost against Texas. They lost by 10 points to the Texas team. Texas came to Tuscaloosa and whooped Alabama's ass in Tuscaloosa. They lost the ball game. Alabama scored 6 points, won by 6 points in their final 2 games. A total, cumulative, of 6 points in their final 2 games. They played an unranked Auburn team. Unranked. Auburn was 6-5 at the time. Or 5-6. No, they were 6-5. Unranked. And it took a Hail Mary to beat Auburn, for them to beat Auburn on the final play of the game. But they say that Alabama is the better team. On the flip side, Florida State played 3 games without their quarterback. Because you can't, you can't count the game. Well, you can count the game against University of North Alabama, because in that game with the University of North Alabama, Travis went down in the first quarter of the game. He went down in the first quarter of the game. When he went down, Florida State was down 13-0 against University of North Alabama at that point in time when Travis was hurt. However, Florida State came back to score, what was it, 58 points, 58 unanswered points, after their starting quarterback went down and their second string quarterback came in. Fast forward, the week following, they went into a hostile environment at the University of Florida. Rivalry game. Played University of Florida with their second string quarterback. Won the ball game in Gainesville. Then they weren't in Tallahassee. They were in Gainesville in a hostile environment on a rivalry game and won that game with their backup quarterback. Fast forward, ACC championship in the game against Florida, where I think it was kind of dirty the way number 18, the quarterback of Florida State, got hit, because you had 2 people coming at him while he was in a slide, and they hit him, and he was on concussion protocol after that. So they went into the ACC championship game against Louisville, against a high-powered offensive team who had been averaging over 30 points a game at that point in time. 30-plus points a game. And they shut them down. Defense shut them down. Only allowed 6 points. Gave up 2 field goals. Shut them down. Third string quarterback in the game. So not only did they go in there and win, they went in there and won with a third string quarterback. Fast forward to Sunday. And we can't even fast forward to Sunday, because prior to Travis going down, prior to Travis getting hurt, if you go back and watch some of the shows that were talking about college football, prior to Travis getting hurt, they were already setting it up. They were already setting it up to where they were saying that Florida State would not get in. It was already being set up. This was prior to Travis going down. And what they did, when Travis went down, now they say, oh, we have a reason. We have an excuse. We have a scapegoat. We can say Florida State don't need to play because they lost their starting quarterback. But you already talked about it before he went down. It was already in the conversation before he even went down. So that's bullshit. That is straight bullshit. But anyway, the impressive Florida State Seminoles went in a conference championship playing a little high-powered offense in a Louisville team, beat them with the third-string quarterback. The quarterback don't have to throw for 300 yards to win a ball game. And it's obvious. Florida State quarterback went in and threw for 55 yards. And they won the ball game. You don't have to throw for 300 and 400 yards a game. And that has nothing to do with you winning or losing. If your team is making a team effort, keyword being team, how do you take that away from them kids? A team effort went in there and won 3 ball games without their starting quarterback. And because we had 13 dumbasses sitting in a room, most of them, from my understanding, never played the freaking game of football because they have an opinion like they're judging figure skating or synchronized swimming or some shit like that. They get to pick to say who looked better playing who. It ain't about who winning. They was like who looked better playing who would generate the most money if they played this team and that team. We don't want to see this team play that team. Kind of bullshit is that? 13 dumbasses who don't, and most of them never played the game, never put on cleats and strapped up, put on a helmet and shoulder pads and got out there on the field. Got a bunch of dumbasses that's telling a bunch of kids that's busting their ass every week in and week out, month in and month out, to work their way to get to the championship series and the playoffs, and then to be told you did everything that you were supposed to do. You left everything on that field. You went out there and bust your ass. You went out there and did the best you could to be undefeated, to be a conference championship, and now we're going to fuck you with no Vaseline. Kind of bullshit is that? Mr. Pugh, what's going on, sir? He said, hey, Jay, how many undefeated teams did not make the CFP? There's one, Florida State University. As far as Power 5 conference champions, undefeated. Only one. You had James Madison. You had James Madison. Well, Mr. P, I know you're going way, way deep in the. I understand. I see where you're going with that. However, do I think those? Well, I'm not gonna let me make my point on the other end. Do I think every undefeated team should have been in the conversation? Yes, I do. I think every undefeated team should have been in the conversation. But at the same time, well, I'm gonna jump on that, Mr. P. I'm gonna jump on it for 14 seconds, and then I'm gonna jump off. At the same time, those I think that every team, I think that every Power 5 conference team well, let me flip that. I think that every smaller school that has playoff potential or in Division I football that can reach the championship series, I think that every single one of those teams should play a team in the Power 5 conference during the regular season. At least one team in the Power 5. Every one of those teams should play at least one team in the Power 5. And if that team goes in and play a Power 5 conference team during the regular season, and they've proved that they can go in and beat a Power 5 conference team in the regular season, they should be talked about in the national championship series. Now, so, with the way college football is set up, when you get that deep into it, it's hard to justify a smaller school or a smaller team who is only playing smaller schools and smaller teams, Division II schools and things of that nature. It's hard to get a picture as to how that team is going to respond when they play the bigger teams or the bigger schools. So that's a whole nother argument that should be made on another day. But Mr. Pugh, I feel you. I see where you're going. And I appreciate it. He said, I feel you. I agree with there was wrong done to FSU. Damn right, it was some wrong done to FSU. And like I say, those kids bust their ass. They went out there and they worked hard. And for them to be turned away by 13 people who never strapped up, never put the cleats on and got out there and seen what them kids had to go through to get to that position. They made the decision like they was judging figure skating. Like they was judging a floor routine in gymnastics. That's not how football is played. Football is a team game. Most of these colleges got 100 kids on this roster that bust their ass every single day. And for something to be taken away from them kids is wrong, no matter how you look at it. And for you Alabama fans that's being obnoxious and being assholes about the situation, my position is, and everybody know me, who if you know me or know anything about me in regards to sports or whatever, you know that I am so far from being an Alabama fan is ridiculous. Because I can't stand Alabama. That's first and foremost. I cannot stand Alabama. Any sport that Alabama play, I want them to lose. I don't care if it's badminton or chess. I want you to lose because I'm not rolling with the tide. Period. However, I'm gonna say this: if Alabama was in the same predicament that the kids at Florida State University is in right now, I would say the same thing about the University of Alabama. I would say the same exact thing. I would be just as outraged at the selection, the committee selections, if they would have left Alabama out, if they were in the same predicament that Florida State is in. And that's just being real. I'm not talking as a Florida State fan. I'm not talking about as a Alabama fan. I am talking about a person who has some humanity about themselves and someone who cares about these young men who get out there and bust their ass to achieve a goal and make sure that they if they get out there and do what they're supposed to do and they put themselves in a position then that should be awarded to them because they earned it. Now, any Alabama fan out there who want to be real, you will be man or woman enough to step forward and say, yeah, Florida State got screwed out of that position. But I'm not telling you not to be proud of your team and not to root for your team. You always root for your team, but be real about it. Be real about it and say, okay, Florida State got fucked. Florida State should have definitely been there based on what they did on the field. Be real about it. Because y'all know when Florida State was going through their rough times, when they was, winning 3 ball games a season or what have you, and not making bowl games and this, that, and other. If you ask me about the Florida State Seminoles, I would tell you flat out, Florida State sucks. My team sucks. My team can't move the ball. My team can't play defense. My team can't do that. My team got receivers that can't catch. I was real about the situation. You would never hear me say that my team is the greatest team to ever walk the earth when they suck. If they played bad, I said they played bad. If they played good, I said they played good, but I still remained a fan, but I still be real about the situation. Now, Alabama fans, on the other hand, Alabama fans don't want to be real. They don't want to be honest with themselves. They just want to continue to be antagonistic and obnoxious and basically just being assholes. And I mean that in the most sincere terms. I'm not calling you an asshole. I'm just saying you're acting like assholes when it comes to this situation. Okay. Mr. Pugh said, hey, North Alabama hanging that tough in the first half. How proud of you of the big dog? Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this, Mr. Pugh. I'm glad you asked me that question. The big dog went in there and did his thing. The big dog went in there and did his thing. If for people who don't know, the big dog is my youngest son. He plays at the University of North Alabama. He plays center at University of North Alabama, and they played. Unless you've been on a rock somewhere, they played at Florida State University. The game right before the game that the infamous game where Travis got hurt, and he went in there and he started that game against Florida State. He played center, and he showed out. He did his thing. The team didn't win. Obviously, the team didn't win, but my son plays center. And let me tell you a quick thing about my child. My child, he plays center, Division I football. Division I football. He plays center. He is probably the smallest center in Division I football. He played that game at Florida State against Florida State. He stands right at 6 feet. He may have been 255 pounds at that time when they played Florida State. I'm telling his business, but his coaches know how much he weighed at the time. He's small when it comes to offensive line. And I was listening to one of the games this weekend, and they was talking about the center position. They was talking about this particular center, and the commentators was like, it's not talking about my son, they're talking about another center on another team. They were saying, this center, he's undersized. And that particular center was 6'3", 307 pounds. My boy's 6 feet. He played against Florida State at 255 pounds. I think the heaviest he's been this whole season is 260 pounds. But he played that game by. And with him on the offensive line, playing the center position, making the calls, reading the defenses, what have you, he showed out. He gave up 0 tackles in that game, playing against future NFL caliber players. He gave up 0 tackles. And when I say 0, what I mean by he gave up 0 tackles, obviously, most people know about football. On the offensive line, you have blocking assignments, if you will. So with his blocking assignments, whoever he was assigned to block, that person never made a tackle. And that was against probably the number 1 defense in the country. So I am so proud of what my child did on that field and what he's done all season and what he did last year and the year before that. I am proud of the big dog. So, but Florida State was screwed out of a chance to play for a national championship. No matter how you look at it, for you Alabama fans, if you're not man or woman enough to admit it, then you do you. You do you. Continue to be obnoxious and continue to be irritating and this, that, and other, and claiming, whatever you want to claim. But the reality is, Nick Saban and the University of Alabama football team was handed a gift because they are Alabama and because they are in the SEC. But let me tell you something about the SEC. Let me tell you something about the SEC. All these SEC people and the Alabama fans, particularly Alabama fans, I'm talking about them today. They say, that the SEC is the best conference. You got people from the LSU and Florida and all of them saying that the SEC is the best conference. But they're delusional because they don't look at the numbers. They don't look at the facts. The fact of the matter is the 2023 season, college football, Power 5 conference. The Southeastern Conference record against the other 4 Power 5 conferences, their record against non-conference opponents in the Power 5 is 7-9. 7-9. For those who don't understand what 7-9 means, that means the SEC won 7 games, the other conferences won 9. I went to public school, but I learned enough in arithmetic to know that 9 is greater than 7. I think I learned that probably in kindergarten. You know, prior to kindergarten, I wasn't into counting much. But even prior to kindergarten, I knew 9 was more than 7. If you gave me 7 pennies and gave somebody else 9 pennies, at about 3 years old, I was old enough to recognize the fact that that person with them 9 pennies had more pennies than I did. But the record, 7 for the SEC, 9 for the other conferences. So for all you SEC people who saying the SEC is the better conference, the numbers don't lie. You can be just be assholes about the situation and still want to claim that the SEC are winners when they're not. Kind of remind me of the MAGA Republicans and the Trump era of things, because last time I checked, when Trump won the presidency, you know, if you got 3 million votes less than the opponent, you didn't win. The office of the president was handed to him, even though he lost the popular vote by 3 million votes. It was handed to him because he was privileged. He was privileged by a system that don't work. Same way with Alabama. They were privileged and handed a gift by a system that does not work, or is generated and operated by somebody's feelings or how much money is put into their pockets. I can't prove that money exchange, but how else can you explain this bullcrap that took place on yesterday? Miss Gandhi, how you doing? She said, I don't feel any more outside of I don't feel anyone outside the committee feels they should be out. What can we do to get them back in? Nothing. We just can't do anything about Alabama being in. Unfortunately, the decision has been made, and there's not anything that can be done at this point to get them back in, or to get them to reverse the decision. There's nothing that can be done at this point, but it is a injustice to those players and those coaches and that staff and the university, and everybody who supports that university, from the alumni to the fans to what have you. Is a total travesty. It's a disrespect to the whole organization. When I say organization, college football in its entirety. College football, they have turned college football into a floor routine in gymnastics. They have turned it into figure skating. When football used to be where it was won or lost on the field. You put it on the field. Now it's about who this team might want to play, who's going to generate more viewers on TV, who's going to be able to sell the higher ticket prices if this team plays that team. Not about winning anymore. It's about aesthetics. It's about who a group of 13 dumbasses think should be playing, and not who earned the right to play. So if I sound irritated, it's because I am. And like I say, I would feel the same frustration. I would feel the same injustice for any team, whether it's Alabama or any other team, I would feel the same exact way about this selection if any other team would have been in the position Florida State is in right now. Whether I'm a fan of them or not, I would feel the same way. And I'm sick and tired of the Alabama cult members thinking that they earned something when they didn't. First thing they're going to say, we the SEC. I don't give a damn about the SEC. Y'all got a losing record. Y'all ain't the best conference. Oh, we Alabama. I don't give a fuck about y'all being Alabama. Oh, we got Nick Saban. Nick Saban kissed my ass. Because you are a coward in my eyes, because you stood there and said that your team deserved to be somewhere they shouldn't. Yeah, your team worked hard, no doubt. But you know that your team should not be in that top 4. But you're not man enough to say that. So kiss my ass, Nick Saban. Be honest about it. Take your team to the playoffs, but at least be honest about it. Come out and say, we played our best. We did what we had to do. However, this other team probably deserved to be there before we did, but the committee made their decisions, and we have no choice but to go with the decisions. We thank you for the opportunity to play. However, this other team should be in, but you ain't got the balls to say that, asshole. Fuck Nick Saban and everybody look like him. I'm sorry. I am so this whole subject, the kids getting cheated got me heated about this whole thing, because I've seen firsthand what it takes for a college athlete to get up week after week and do what they have to do, injury after injury, and have to take care of what they got to do in the classroom, and they work hard and they do everything they're supposed to, and if you earn a right to a spot, you should be able to take advantage of it. College football is not a game that somebody should be able to judge you and say, oh, that this quarterback didn't throw enough touchdowns. This running back didn't run enough yards. This defense gave up 17 yards and they should have only gave up 10. And then judge you regardless of you winning or losing. That should not be football. But the state of football today is ridiculous, especially college football. What if they did that in the NFL? What if they took all these teams at the end of the season, they done played 17 games, they done bust their head and played 17 games. End of the season, they say, okay, we don't care if you won your division. We don't care if what your record is. We're going to put these 13 people in the room, and these 13 people are going to come out and decide who's going to play in the Super Bowl. What kind of bullshit is that? The game is the game. The rules are the rules. It's set up like that for a reason. This 4-game playoff system is a joke. Next year they're moving to 12 games. I mean 12 teams, if you will, on the playoffs. Will that even the field? It'll make it more even than what it is now. But if you got a bunch of, it should be earned on the field. So whatever the criteria is for those 12 teams to get in that top 12, it should be based on what you do on the field, not what somebody think who you should be playing and what's going to generate the most money. It should be based on what took place on that field. But anyway, it is top of the hour. I think I went over. I actually just went over. My apologies, guys. I'm just irritated, and and let me say this before I go, real quick. This Orange Bowl that's going to be played with Georgia and Florida State. That game is going to be meaningless. That game is not going to prove anything. It's not going to help the situation. It's only going to hinder some people. Now you have a group of particular seniors who's supposed to be playing in a championship series, a playoff series, that are going out there playing for nothing on this team. And Georgia wasn't even, how you go from number one to not even being talked about in regards to the college playoff. You've been riding number one the whole time, and Georgia just falls completely out. They don't understand that one either. But that game where I've already seen where one of the players is not going to play in that game, one of the seniors, um, with Florida State and with Georgia, there's several kids on those rosters that will be going into the NFL draft next year. So at this time, they don't have any type of incentive to play in this Orange Bowl because they have nothing to play for. They have nothing to play for. They have nothing to gain, everything to lose. So you're not going to see the same Florida State team that you've seen all season. You're not going to see the same Georgia team that you've seen all season because they're not going to play all their players. And those players are going to sit out because they were not awarded an opportunity to play for a championship. Therefore, it's not worth them to risk their futures in getting hurt and not being able to go play at the next level. Excuse me. But anyway, that's my spiel today. Thursday show. I'll keep you informed on Thursday show. Again, I have a lot going on. But I want to thank you for joining me today right here on the Truth with GWPMM Internet Radio. Thank you for listening to me fuss about doing right versus wrong. And it's going to be hard for me to enjoy this bowl series. Usually, when the bowl games come on, I'd be geeked. But this year is I don't know if I'm gonna be in the mood to even watch college football coming up here because college football is a joke right now, and it's not a joke because of the players. It's a joke because of the people that's running the organization. You dumbasses have to do better. Got to do better by these kids. Stop getting paid under the table. Stop being a part of the good old boy network and screwing these kids out of opportunities that they earned on the field. So for the committee, kiss my ass. For Nick Saban, kiss my ass. Go Noles. I'm out. For you all, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. See you Thursday night, 6 o'clock. I'm out.